if you are struggling with unexplainable fear or anxiety or suffering from conditions that have no logical explanation, this video is for you. If you find yourself sabotaging your dreams, unable to break free from invisible barriers and limitations, you are not alone, and the problems that you're experiencing may be not entirely yours. This is imprints of ancestral trauma that you carry very deep in your subconscious. Many of your problems, many of your life scenarios, those that you repeat over and over and over, this might be an inheritance passed down through generations. Ancestral trauma can influence your mind, your thoughts, your behaviors, the way you react to life situations. And it shapes our beliefs about survival, life in general, relationships, and even wealth. While some aspects of generational trauma are very unique to your family, your lineage, many can be tied to the geographical history of your family. By learning and understanding the history of your family's homeland, you can uncover the patterns and wounds that may still be playing out in your life even today. For example, in the United States, many families descended from pioneers, settlers, or immigrants who faced extreme hardship. They had to fight for their survival. They endured harsh climate. They were forced to prioritize basic needs like shelter and food. Their struggles left imprints of scarcity, fear, and relentless need to push through without rest. Understanding that, you can draw a correlation with the fears you're experiencing, with the beliefs you have, with the limitations, with the self-sabotaging behavior. Look how many people struggle with their weight now. Of course, the biggest problem right now is a lack of good nutrition and abundance of the things we shouldn't be even eating. But what I've seen in my hypnotherapy practice, extreme obesity, very often tied to subconscious fear of going hungry, starving, and even dying from starvation. And when we do past life regression or ancestral trauma healing protocol, more often than not we can uncover or the person's own past life experience with starvation and hunger and not having enough, or we can uncover the history of their ancestors going hungry and starving. Fear is embedded so deeply, people feel that they never have enough. And even if your weight is perfect, you probably still carrying some imprints of that fear. Can manifest differently. Your pantry and refrigerator can be always overstuffed, not because you have hard time accessing the food. You can go and buy food at any time if you want to, as much as you want to, and yet most of us have a need to stockpile food. You go to a store to pick up just some milk and bread and end up with a full cart of groceries again. Of course, we can blame it on the dark psychology of marketing and the way they design stores and how they create packaging, and all of it is meant to make our purchasing decisions easier. But we're still the ones that are making that decision. If you truly didn't want to buy it, no trick could force you to do it. This is our subconscious fear that is embedded so deeply on our DNA from all the experiences of our ancestors. They had to fight for their food, they never had enough, starved, and even died from hunger. I can share a bit about my own fears, at least the ones that I recognize and understand now are also connected to survival. During Russian Revolution, many families were stripped of land, homes, all resources. Some were imprisoned and some were executed. Those were not just royalty or elites. Those were hard-working that managed to accumulate some wealth, and they were pronounced as the enemy of people. So these revolutionaries took from my family everything they had: land, farm, house, animals, everything. They were imprisoned. It's my great-grandmother and great-grandfather on the father's side. We don't even know what really happened to them, or they died in prison on their own, or they were executed. There were 9 children left behind. Only few of them survived, including my grandfather. Those stories weren't shared in our home for a very long time. I have not heard those stories as a child. Very first time I found out about it, I was already in my 20s. But even before then, this experience of my ancestors influenced my beliefs, influenced my behavior, my choices. That was a subconscious fear of owning anything. The words like wealth, riches, prosperity, they weren't even in my vocabulary. I had absolutely no interest in it. Now I understand that this is a subconscious fear that was imprinted on my DNA. Owning anything, having any property or any resources meant danger, even death. But those fears go even deeper, even farther in the past. Long before the Russian Revolution, my people were nomads moving through Siberian steppes. Their survival depended on constant movement. Even our Tengri law says Tengri is the oldest form of shamanism. Siberia, this is where shamanism come from. Anyway, our law says don't build a house. Steppes are your home. Earth is your bed and the sky is your blanket. I moved countless times. I cannot tell you how many times I moved. Non-stop, every few months. First moving from apartment to apartment. It wasn't enough. I started moving to other cities. And even that wasn't enough. Then I started moving from country to country. And for as long as I remember myself, all I wanted, I thought I wanted it. I thought it was my dream. Have a family, have a house, a garden, kids. And yet I did everything to make it impossible. And even now, I think I am so aware of my problems, of my fears, worked through so much stuff. I am still under influence of it, living in my own home now, developing a garden, getting ready to bring animals onto my land. I still catch myself thinking, what will I need to do if I have to move quickly? How will I get rid of my stuff? What I can sell quickly? And I'm very hesitant to make any purchase that would, what I believe will weigh me down. We were planting fruit trees. I was so excited. Peaches, apples, cherries, pears. It's my dream coming true. And then those negative emotions coming up. Fear, anxiety, and I would say grief. I know those are not mine. I have no reason to feel this way. These are the echoes of the past. A hello from my ancestors. Yes, I might be still affected by the experiences of my ancestors, and I might still relive their fear, but unlike them, I have the knowledge, the understanding, and the tools to release those fears and to heal. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, but I know that gradually, little by little, it gets better and better. I owe it to myself, to my ancestors, and to the future generations. I don't want to pass that inheritance to them. So what about you? What kind of inheritance you received? How much of unexplained pain and fear you're carrying? And what ancestral scenarios you are reliving? Healing those old traumas is not just about understanding what was in the past, but also about reclaiming your future and how much better it will be once you release the fears, the limitations, once you stop replaying your ancestral scenarios and start living your own life. It is your duty to heal what your ancestors couldn't. Recognizing those patterns, becoming aware, this is the most important step. Sometimes awareness alone can bring the healing. You see, whatever happened, any event that was emotionally charged, it's kind of like a program was launched, which was fueled by the emotion. And now this program, this information, starts to spin through generations. Remember, ancestral trauma is not something that is illusional. It's actually embedded on our DNA. Scientists now can recognize that. So now this program spins. Maybe your great-grandparents got it, then grandparents, then your parents, then you got it. Any trauma seeks resolution. We have to recognize it and remove the emotional aspect from it. Remove the fuel which was feeding this program. To remove the emotion, you have to look at it, analyze it, understand it. Oh, this fear is not really mine. That's because someone in my lineage experienced extreme hardship. But I am in a different situation. This is a different time, different world. I am under no threat. Therefore, there is absolutely no reason for me to continue experiencing this fear. Ancestral trauma is an outdated survival mechanism. So we need to look at it, understand it, remove the emotion. If you analyze it, you remove the emotion, and this program has no more fuel to continue to spin through generations. When I do ancestral trauma protocol, once we pinpoint what really happened, energetic release happen, which is almost always visible to the eye. A client may cry, posture shifts, the face may start blushing, they may start sweating, some people shiver. The shift happening not just within the client, but in the space around them. All of a sudden, you can see sunshine behind the window getting brighter, pictures that were hanging on the wall falling down. There is always some shift that you can notice. And I've added some healing sessions that are recorded for you to experience it. It would be interesting to you if you are a practitioner, a healer, but also if you are seeking your own healing. I'm inviting you to take that test drive anyway. At least experience the sessions that I've provided for free. You'll find the link below this video in the description box. What are you feeling?
It's like loosen up my spine, like a crack. I just feel like I can breathe. Like I feel like movement, like a vibration, right? It's like expansion.
I feel like a weight has been lifted. Like when I started saying this particular um part, I felt like healing was taking place. Like some tingling went through my body.
You see definitely physical response.